Hey everybody, thanks for waiting on Thursday night. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. Didn't expect much here, but I will tell you, uh, I am pleased that everybody is going to check this out because there's a lot to talk about. But I wanted to focus on one thing that really shocked me. I mean, I can't. It was shocking because it was disappointing to read, and when I read it again, I was even more disappointed and then disgusted that I read it. And had it happened the other way, where 49er linebacker Ruben Foster would have been actually found to have done domestic violence, it would have hit number one or number five, between number one and five on Google Trends in terms of search today. But because his girlfriend did what I'm about to tell you she did, no one paid any attention, which I find shocking. It's almost like, oh, because he's a black guy, you expect to find him that he's done something wrong and then you're interested. But when you find that he hasn't done anything wrong, you're not interested? That's what the Journal Society says. You know? There's a sickness out there. But I digress. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. I want you to hear this. Her name is Elissa Ennis. Elissa Ennis. And she, and this has been all over the place today, she said she lied about the domestic violence claims against Ruben Foster. That's right, she said she lied. I want you to hear there are a number of accounts, but the one that's in my face when I type her name is courtesy of the New York Post, and it goes like this. NFL player's ex-girlfriend. Brutal allegations were lies for money. Okay? Lies for money. That's what she says. And not only that, what I'm about to tell you she did, it wasn't the first time anyone experienced that. Uh, it this is Here's a photograph of the two of them. If I can, well, I'm just gonna have to take this and unhook it for a second. All right, and then bring it like that, and there you go. Okay, there they are. Obviously, that's Ruben Foster on the left, and that is Ms. Ennis on the right, headed to court. All right. Hey, Barry Lee, how you doing? All right. Ruben, Ruben, what is up, man, with that bow haircut? Dude, you look like Fifi or Fufu. But I digress. Okay. Let me put this back here, and we'll get started to talking. Excuse me. What I'm doing is I'm rehooking this into the tripod, and it is rehooked. All right, now, and set up, okay? Rehooked and set up. Now, okay. Barry says, a very good conversation today with you. Okay, awesome. Barry, I want you to pay attention to this. Hold on, hold that thought. Hold that thought, okay? Because this is a big story. This is big news, and I want your comment on it, okay? And it goes like this, all right? The domestic violence case against 49er linebacker Ruben Foster took a dramatic turn Thursday afternoon when Foster's accuser, ex-girlfriend Elissa Ennis is her name, said she fabricated the story. She told authorities in February of this year of Foster hitting her and dragging her downstairs as part of a money scheme, okay? That was as part of a money scheme, all right? And I'm going to do one thing here while I'm talking to you about this, because I've got some, let's see here, unexpected noise here, folks. So hold on a second. Hold on a second, folks. I'll be right back, okay? Okay, I'm back, folks. Back. Had had to change sets. My experiment of doing it downstairs under normal conditions of home was not a good one, okay? It was a dumb idea on my part. It was a dumb idea. But it was an idea. On that note, before I continue, I am proud to report that my mom is, I would say, 80% back to normal. Okay, 80%. And I'm going to continue in 1 second. What I'm doing is I'm putting out a new tweet. Raiders, hashtag Niners, hashtag Falcons, hashtag NFL, NFL meeting, hashtag Ruben Foster. Yeah, all right, and then there goes that. And that's on its way. All right. Hey, you're back. I'm back. We're back. All right. Let me finish reading to you what I read when I was downstairs, all right? Because, again, this is... All right, okay. I'm going to start again. If you're just joining, welcome to Zenny62. Please, thumbs up. The domestic violence case against San Francisco 49ers linebacker Ruben Foster took a dramatic turn Thursday afternoon when Foster's accuser, ex-girlfriend Elissa Ennis, said she fabricated the story she told authorities in February of Foster hitting her and dragging her downstairs as part of a money scheme. Ennis explained her motives for going to police with an allegation of Foster's attack while testifying at a pre-trial hearing in San Jose, saying she wanted to basically F up his career after he tried to break up with her, according to The Athletic. Since it has a link to The Athletic, it's only fair we go to The Athletic's account, and what we get is a tweet. And I say that because I expected a, article. And it says that the only one of her 3 9/11 calls asked police for help, and the other 2 she hung up. I was threatening Reuben that I was going to fuck up his career. And this is by David Lombardi, who I've met. Great guy, by the way. Happy to like this and retweet this on Twitter. Now, let me go back to from whence this came, which was a whole article which pieced everything together. At any rate, Ennis told, and I, just as a momentary, observation. Welcome back, Barry Lee. When you're writing an article and you're referring to a tweet, please use the tweet or say according to a tweet put out by Dave Lombardi of The Atlantic or something like that. But just don't say according to The Atlantic, because it implies that you linked to an article, and that's not what happened in this case. Welcome to Zenny62. Hey, everybody. Thanks. Please, thumbs up. Ennis told responding officers in February that, hey, Courtney, how you doing? That Foster had dragged her down the stairs by her hair, threw her out of the house, punched her in the head, not once, but not 5 times, but 8 times. 8 to 10 times, excuse me. And then, for good measure, spit on her, okay? Ennis, who had started to recant her original story within 2 days of relaying it, the district attorney confirmed in court, and formally did so through her attorney in late April, said on Thursday, all of those behaviors she described were lies. Here's a quote. She says, I wanted to sue Reuben. It was a money scheme. It was all about money. I wanted to get him. And then she adds with this. Hold on to your tails. She said this. She said, I really wanted to kill him, she added. I was so hurt. Wow. Ennis said she became visibly upset the morning Foster said he wanted to break up with her and that she chased after him with threats as he tried to run away from her. I told him, I'm about to fuck you up. Basically what she's told him is, I'm about to fuck your shit up. Okay, that's what she says here. Okay, make sure you don't have a. And she says she's gonna make sure he doesn't have a job tomorrow. All right. Ennis said she made 3 911 calls, 2 of which she hung up on before getting an answer, and ultimately flagged down someone riding by to call the police on her behalf. The passerby who made the call reportedly testified that he remembers Ennis looking very calm and without injuries. Ennis later admitted to falsely accusing a former boyfriend of assault in 2011. So she has a track record that spans 8 years, basically, for which she said she went to jail, according to the website. Ennis, who's 28 years old, said she planned to enter a clinic to get help for herself once the case is closed. She says, "I don't love him. I need help for myself." It's in response to the district attorney asking if she still has feelings for Ruben Foster. Wow. I mean, she never loved him. She just wanted his money. Foster's teammate, newly signed 49ers cornerback Richard Sherman appeared to call out those who had criticized Foster in the wake of allegations and before hearing the full story. Funny how people rush to judgment so quickly they can't accept the truth when the truth comes out, so they sensationalize a lie and trivialize the truth, Sherman wrote on Twitter shortly after Ennis' testimony. You know what? That too is worth retweeting. Let me find that. Boom. Okay? Out there. That's horrible. I mean, there's no other way to put it than to say that's horrible. Okay? So then, let's see here. And Foster entering his second season with the 49ers after being selected in the first round 2017 draft has not been allowed to participate in the team's offseason program while the case is in progress. 49ers GM John Lynch said the team would be patient through the legal process, but if the charges against Foster were proven untrue, he would be promptly released. Well, they're not true. And I also have to issue my apology to Ruben Foster for assuming this was actually the case and then going on a kind of a observation that, brothers from the South have a hard time adjusting the Bay Area. This has nothing to do with that for the most part. I say for the most part because, well, no, it has nothing to do with it. And the reason why I say that is because she was a user, a complete user. However, there was a person on our stream, if you may remember, who did comment about how I was kind of right but kind of wrong, and said that black men from the South who come to the Bay Area are not ready for the kind of women that zero in on them and then scheme to take their money. And this person said there's a sort of a group of them, and apparently she's part of that group. Bad stuff. Let me take your comments. Barry Lee says, hey, how you doing, Cowboy Wrestler? Barry Lee writes, she even admitted that she'd done it once before in 2011 with another boyfriend in Louisiana. Joseph Binsman says, it was really a shame when some women do this. It's right up there with women, especially white women, voting for Trump, sabotaging themselves. Barry Lee says, she even admitted, been in court, that the injuries she had were from a fight the night before from another woman. I have to say one thing. I don't have anything against the woman voting for Donald Trump. Hey, by the way, there are only 2 thumbs up. Come on, thumbs up, guys. There's 7 of you on. Just thumbs up. There's not a lot of you on. The other 5 of you can at least thumbs up, right? Why not? Just indulge me, okay? Anyway, if you're still around to indulge me. But anyway, Barry Lee says, my question is this. Why? Hey, welcome to Zenny62. My question is, why did she all of a sudden admit to what she had done? Evidence? That's what was going through my head when I read this, and that's what I'm looking for, because I don't see. That's the New York Post account, which is drawn from social media, because they weren't there. But even then, even if it was drawn from social media, from Twitter specifically, the way the New York Post put it together was really good. I have to say it's really cool. All right. You have the Chronicle says Ruben Foster's case, ex-girlfriend's testimony is set back for domestic violence victims. I completely disagree, okay? Because the implication is that you should just believe a woman when she claims domestic violence and not look into the case. These issues are case by case. And everyone has been falsely accused of something in their entire life. I have, you have. It didn't matter if, so it didn't matter what happened in your life, where you were. I guarantee you, someone falsely accused you of doing something at some point in your life. You don't like it. No one likes it. It's a horrible something to happen. In order to make sure that you're not being falsely accused, people have to look at the case. They have to look at the evidence. They have to look at the story, and they have to look at the person. For the Chronicle to say that this is a setback for domestic violence victims or reporters is intellectually irresponsible, it's morally repugnant, and it's just plain stupid, okay? It really is. It's like you've got this news media organization that's all set to tee up just to blame somebody without the desire to investigate to find out the truth. It's almost as if the Chronicle is disappointed that Ruben Foster wasn't guilty. That's what it sounds like, okay? That's really what it sounds like. It's like, oh, I'm so mad this black guy's not guilty, and oh, it's the same, in the same 2 weeks that we've had all these black people falsely accused of things by white people. Oh my God. You know what I mean? It's come on. That, for whoever wrote that for the Chronicle, should be fired. The editor should be fired for greenlighting it. That was awful. I can't say enough about how bad that was. It was just plain, you know what? Bleh, okay? Bleh. Now, let me read a better account. This one from Nick Wagner of ESPN, who writes the details and that I've read to you, okay? And Ennis said, I think this will answer your question, Barry, as to why she finally spilled the beans. Ennis said she felt she needed to tell the truth because she, quote, had to do the right thing, unquote, even if it meant admitting to previous lies to the police and to stealing money and 2 Rolex watches from Foster in the days after their breakup. I mean, that's what she said, okay? Someone got to her. I don't know if it was her mom. Someone got to her. Maybe it was the attorney. But someone got to her, okay? Maybe her attorney impressed upon her how much more dire the punishment would be against her if she allowed this lie to continue without stop. Anyway, she says, I was pissed and I wanted to end him. Then she says by the time she was done on the stand, she had talked for 2 hours and broke down in tears multiple times, recounting her and Foster's breakup, which she said led her to ruin Foster's career and execute what she called a money scheme. After Ennis broke down in tears again, Judge Nona L. Clippen offered a 10-minute recess so Ennis could compose herself, but tearful Ennis offered an apology to the court. She said, I'm sorry, I really am. I apologize to everybody. Wow. At the end of the preliminary hearing, Clippen said she would take time to consider the evidence before making a ruling next Wednesday. If Clippen rules that any or all the charges will continue to a jury trial, that would likely take place in July. Foster, who arrived to the Santa Clara Hall of Justice on Thursday morning in a blue suit and pink dress shirt, was stoic through Ennis' testimony, occasionally leaning over to speak with his attorney Josh Bentley and taking notes on a legal pad. After the February 11th incident at his home in Los Gatos, California, Foster was arraigned on felony charges of domestic violence, forcibly attempting to prevent a victim from reporting a crime, and possessing an assault weapon. Of those, I have a feeling that assault weapons thing is gonna stick. That's the one bothersome aspect about this. Those charges came After Ennis told authorities that Foster had hit her 8 to 10 times, dragged her out of his house, threw her to the ground, and spit on her in a domestic altercation. Ennis alleged that Foster broke her phone and threw their dog at her. Among the injuries Ennis suffered was a ruptured eardrum that required a hospital visit later in the day. She testified Thursday morning that all those allegations were lies. Again, she said, "I was pissed and wanted to end him." One day after those initial allegations were made, Ennis returned to her home in Louisiana, where she's from. She's not a Bay... Oh, you know what? Something else, too. She's not a Bay Area woman. This is someone that Ray met in Louisiana, and, hey, you know what? Went to the Bay Area with him, apparently. I don't know that part about it, but again, that information is in stark contrast to what I said about brothers coming up from the South and going to the Bay Area meeting a woman. She's from the South, okay? So this has nothing to do with region and everything to do with a bad person with a bad heart. Period, okay? Period, full stop, end of my thoughts there. I was wrong. Okay, now, on February 13th, Ennis told Los Gatos detective Jen Wines that she had been involved in a fight in San Francisco and that she sustained injuries there. Wines, who testified after Ennis that he had doubts about that fight taking place and did not follow up with authorities in San Francisco because he did not have a location or further information to go on. Wines testified that he was not aware of Ennis previously accusing a former boyfriend of domestic violence in Louisiana. According to Ennis, she sustained her injuries in a fight that took place in San Francisco on the night of February 10th. After getting her hair done near Oakland, Ennis said she headed toward Pier 39 in San Francisco. After another driver cut her off, Ennis said she returned the favor of cutting that driver off, okay? And then her and the driver of the other car began motioning each other before pulling to the side of the road. From there, this gets better, folks. Listen to this. From there, Ennis said she and the other driver engaged in an altercation, a fight that lasted 15 minutes. So basically, she's like, "Yeah, bitch, get over there. I'm going to let you have it." And the other one's like, "Oh, yeah? Come on. Let's do it." And they get out of the car and they start going at it. Dang. That's what's here. Okay, you can't make this stuff up, okay? You cannot make this stuff up. That's what's here, all right? Man, Reuben picked out a doozy. I mean, this is what's here, okay? So, anyway, I don't repeat the paragraph. From there, Ennis said she and the other driver engaged in an altercation that lasted about 15 minutes. That's a long time. While there was another woman in the car, Ennis said she was unsure if that woman got physically involved in the fight. A 22-second video... Oh, jeez. A 22-second video of that fight turned up on social media soon after, and a friend of Ennis sent it to her in mid-March. Ennis then turned that video over to her attorney for review. Winans testified that... This is horrible. I mean, but it's also... Well, whatever. Wines, the detective, testified that when Ennis told him about the fight in San Francisco a couple of days after the Los Gatos incident, she told him she had been at a bar drinking in San Francisco, and the altercation happened at the bar rather than as part of a road rage incident. After returning to the Los Gatos home she shared with Ruben Foster, Ennis said she attempted to tell Foster about the altercation, but that he didn't want to hear about it. When they woke up the next morning, Ennis was making Foster breakfast when he told her he wanted to end their relationship. Wow. So from her perspective, that was like adding on pain on top of pain, okay? The previous day, she had a road rage incident. She was embarrassed to talk about it, didn't tell the truth about it, went home to Ruben Foster, which, if you think, well, you don't know this if you don't live in the Bay Area, but to drive from San Francisco to Los Gatos is no short due. It's like almost, depending on traffic, a 2-hour drive, okay? So she gets home. She finally gets home. And then tries to tell Foster about what happened. He says, for whatever reason, he doesn't want to hear it. They go to sleep, and I guess that sleep was basically loveless, because he wakes up the next morning and says, hey, you know what? I want to break up. So she's already pissed off because of the road rage incident, pissed off that he doesn't want to hear what she has to say about what happened to her, probably pissed off that, he's not being lovey-dovey with her that night, and then, ding, he wants to break up with her. Which, come to think of it, if they actually had done the deed that night, and then he said I wanted to break up with her, she probably would have been even more pissed. Okay, so there sets the stage. Wow. Ennis attributed Foster's decision to end their relationship to feeling embarrassed by her actions regarding the road rage incident. In the time since the February 11th incident, Ennis said she had little contact with Foster. In one of the few interactions, she acknowledged following Foster to a car dealership as he returned a Corvette, taking photos of the car and sending them to Foster via text with threats that she was going to sell them to TMZ. You heard me. You heard me, okay? You heard me. I'm going to repeat that. In the time since the February 11th incident, Ennis said she had little contact with Ruben Foster. In one of the few interactions, she acknowledged following Foster to a car dealership as he returned a Corvette, taking photos of the car and sending them to Foster via text with threats that she would sell them to TMZ. She also admitted to stealing more than $8,000 from Foster after taking his account and routing numbers. Are you hearing me? I'm going to repeat this, folks. It seems like this is like a descent to hell. Every step gets hotter and hotter and hotter as you go down, okay? Listen to this. I hope I never go to heaven. Listen to this. Listen to this. Ennis admits to stealing more than $8,000 from Foster after taking his account and routing numbers. His bank account and routing numbers. That money has since been seized by the bank and returned to Ruben Foster. But Ennis said she still has the 2 Rolexes she took from Foster in a safe deposit box in Louisiana. Ennis also said Thursday that she had been in touch with Foster recently because she was dealing with depression from the breakup and wanted his help so she could check herself into a clinic in Louisiana, which basically probably means she wanted him to pay for that, that clinic, right? In addition to Wines and Ennis, the only other testimony delivered in the morning came from a man who was driving the car that Ennis flagged down so that she could call 911 on Foster on the morning of February 11th. That man testified that Ennis approached his car in a calm manner and asked to use his phone. Ennis initially told authorities that she needed to use the phone because Foster broke her phone. But she said that was not true and testified Thursday that she threw her phone at Foster after he broke up with her. Kevin Smith, the Santa Clara County Deputy District Attorney, submitted multiple photos of Ennis' injuries into evidence Thursday as he examined the witnesses. Following the lunch break, the final testimony of the day came from Los Gatos police officer Katrina Freeman. Freeman had been one of the responding officers and spoke to both Foster and Ennis on the morning of February 11th, but had not been involved in the case since. The only time during Thursday's proceedings that Foster showed any emotion was when Freeman asked whether Foster appeared agitated when she spoke to him that morning, and Freeman responded, I suppose. This is irresponsible. This is a police officer doesn't know. Rather than saying, I don't remember, she says, I suppose. What is that? Foster shook his head like, no, in response. That's really bad. I really feel sorry for Ruben Foster. And this is a horrible period for black men. I mean, it's like, and look, Ennis, in case you're wondering, is black. She's light-skinned sister, okay? What they call high yellow, all right? Does that make a difference? To some it would. Is she attractive? Yeah. But that doesn't excuse anything. It doesn't. It's this is one in a long list of women who have tried to take advantage of NFL players over the decades. There was there was a very sad story of Fred Lang Jr. Fred Lang Jr. was running back with both the Carolina Panthers and the Indianapolis Colts. He was born September 6, 1975. He died July 6, 2000. In Carolina. He was born in Franklin, Tennessee. Okay. He was shot by his wife, Deirdre Lane, and died as a result. Deirdre made up a story of domestic violence. Fred never laid a hand on her. I know this personally for a fact because Fred Lane Jr. was my cousin. Deirdre Lane was an awful person. She didn't want the family to have any contact with Fred Jr. None. Okay? None. She was sentenced to, when it was found that what she did was premeditated, she was sentenced to 7 years in jail. Well, about 8 years. She was credited for time served. And then she was served time in jail also on a federal charge of conspiracy to commit what's called bank larceny. So now she's out of jail. What she's doing, I have no idea. She's been out of jail since March of 2009. Okay, I have no idea what's happened to her. But I do know one thing because, hey, look. And I remember talking to Fred. You were always talking about getting together one day, and it didn't happen. Okay, it didn't happen. Didn't happen. All right. So with that, I'll read all your comments. Hey, a number of you didn't get notifications. I'll note that. That's really bothers me. And thank you for telling me because Barry Lee says he hasn't gotten a notification for a month. And that's bad. And I'll follow up with YouTube. That keeps happening. And there should be an explanation for why that happens, okay? At any rate, getting back to the story, Joseph Binsman writes, no, Barry, if people don't pay attention to people like this girl, Miss Ennis, in the first place, they can't take people like Foster to court and almost ruin their careers. Barry Lee says, Cowboy, it's not, I can't read that one. Joseph Binsman says, call BS in the first place and put a stop to false accusers real fast. John Marks says, she's in jail? No, not yet. She should be. I don't know where the weapons charge comes in. I don't know if the police found it. This police officer that came up and said that she supposed Foster was not in a good mood or agitated sounds, from what I read, very untrustworthy to begin with. If she was the person that made that claim, given what she said in court and her just untrustworthiness, just as it sounds, he may very well have a good chance of beating the assault weapons rap. Don't know that deal. I'm only speculating. So, Albert 106, how you doing? He says, you didn't get the notification either? Wow. John Mark says, I was waiting for notification all the time. John Mark says, YouTube is really dropping the ball on this one. Yeah, I really am firmly convinced that YouTube is holding back my notifications to my subscribers in an effort to keep my numbers artificially low. I really believe that. And by keeping my numbers low, they don't have to pay out as much in terms of what I'm owed. So, is it horrible? You betcha. It's really bad. I'm trying to figure out a way around it. If you have ideas, let me know, because I don't know. But I know that you would say, why are they doing that? I think YouTube is trying to pick winners and losers. They're trying to pick people who they want to be successful because they believe that advertisers would better gravitate towards somebody that is between the ages of 18 and 24 and white. I am not that. So, and talks about stupid things, which I endeavor not to do. So, because all this is code. It's all based on algorithms and controls. It's not just who's popular. It's a sham. It really is. Mike Barry Lee says, John Joseph Benjamin says, did they ever have a ruling about the Greg Hardy case and his weapons charge? Yeah, they did. Let me see what the outcome of that was. Hold on a second with respect to Greg Hardy. I think, let's see, Greg Hardy. I forgot. So that's what the internet's for, right? Greg Hardy, NFL. All right. Let's see here. Greg Hardy is actually right now. He is an American football defensive end for the Richmond Rough Riders of the American Arena League right now. So that's what happened to him. And so, let's see here. There's the latest story is former NFL defensive end Hardy Austin Lane to fight for a chance. Let me really see this. At the this is 3 days ago. They will fight in an MMA bout for a chance at the Ultimate Fighting League, UFC. And so Greg Hardy is set for his first UFC pro bout. And last year he said he's not an effing psychopath. Okay. What else? Now, as far as the disposition of his case, on July 15th, 2014, he was found guilty of assaulting his ex-girlfriend and sentenced to 18 months probation, as well as being suspended for 10 games by the NFL. But the charges and suspension were later dropped after the victim failed to appear in court to testify, but Hardy's arrest and trial were the focus of considerable controversy. All right? So that is... He went to the Cowboys, you might remember, and it says, after his quick start, he played with a high effort his final year. He struggled with his technique, and his production dropped. He finished as the team leader in quarterback pressures with 32, and was second on the team with sacks with 6, but 3 came in the last 9 games. He also drew the anger of head coach Jason Garrett due to inappropriate tweets, frequent tardiness, as well as being a bad influence on the younger players on the Dallas Cowboys. He was not re-signed after the season, and that was basically 2015. So he took some time off, and then he played in the, 2016, excuse me. So, went from the NFL to the Arena Football League in 2017. Now he's trying to be an Ultimate Fighter. That is what happened with Greg Hardy. Now, so there's what happened with that, okay? I hope that answers your question as far as, what happened with Hardy. The best way you can help in terms of this channel is take this link, put it out on Twitter, like right now, hashtag NFL, hashtag livestream. Put it on your Facebook page, put it on your Pinterest page, put it on Reddit, wherever you have access to. Make sure it's out there so I can get more subscribers, okay? Barry Lee says, no, John Marks says, Mark Davis needs to punt 4th down. Barry Lee says, John Marks, what I have been doing is to go directly to Zinni's channel and check to see if he's live yet. Thanks, Barry. I appreciate that. But you know, people do want to notice because anything can happen. Like tonight, my mom and I were shopping, and my mom is, I have made a video. Mom is back to almost full strength. She was walking without aid of a walker or without the use of a wheelchair. But having mom back to almost full strength means long shopping periods that last almost 3 hours. I'm not kidding. We were at the store. So when did we come into Kroger's, excuse me. I think we went into Kroger's. Let me figure this out real quick. Because I want to, now that I've said that, you know, I have to see, right? But, because I remember putting out that I was up there with her on Foursquare. That was 5 hours ago. Okay. We got back 5 hours ago. We got back at about, believe it or not, 9:30. 9:30, 10:30, 10:30, 11. No, actually not even 9:30. About almost 10 o'clock. Almost 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. It's almost 2 o'clock now. So that's about right. So of the 5 hours ago, so you go back 5 hours to, we were still we were still shopping at 10, about 3 hours, somewhere in there. A long time. 2 hours. Let's say 2 hours. It was a long time. But it's great because it means that my mom is healthy again and she can do what she loves to do more than, I think, probably a few things, more with the exception of playing with kids and shopping. Grocery shopping. She loves grocery shopping. She knows the coupons. She knows the deals at Kroger. She's the expert. That's my mom, all right? That is my mom. John Marks says, I have, and so far they never upload the live streams. Hey, John Marks, will you say that when they don't upload the live streams, what do you mean? If you go to my channel, you should be able to see my live stream active right now. Even if I go to youtube.com and I just go /Zenny62, okay, and I can see the outside. If I go there, what I should see is, yeah, this is what I should see. This is what you should see. This is what I see, right? See that? Okay, it says live now, right? And every time I go live, you see the picture and the title right here. And then all you have to do is, click on that and come on in, right? So that's the idea. I don't know, however, under what keyword that appears, okay? That's what I don't know. It would be interesting to find out. Like, for example, if I just click on, if I click Zenny62 on YouTube right now, what do I find? Hey, see, if you click Zenny62 on YouTube, in general, without even going to my page, you find I'm live right off the bat. See that? Okay. Right? Okay. If you do that. Now, what I'm curious to know is, what happens if I type like Ruben Foster, right? So I go to Ruben Foster, But there's all these results, but you'd have no idea that I was talking about it live. And YouTube should change that. If someone is talking live about, in this case, Ruben Foster, it should show up here. But it doesn't, okay? So I don't know, right? You see what I'm getting at? If I go to filter, like sort by upload date, yeah. So if you sort by upload date, this is what you see for Ruben Foster. Check this out, all right? If I go Ruben Foster and then I filter by upload date, look at that, okay? Right now, okay? That's the talk, all right? NFL latest news updates. Okay? So that's interesting. Now I wondered if I typed NFL news. If I type NFL news and then I use as my filter upload date, take a look at this, okay? This is something else. Look at this, all right? If I type NFL news, out of 12 million results, this is number 1. Okay? See that? All right? That's pretty good, okay? All anyone has to do is click on it. That's pretty cool. Okay? So it just means that not a lot of people are searching for it, but it does say live now. I also wrote some other keywords, like I wrote LA Rams Inglewood NFL Stadium. Let me try something. LA Rams Inglewood Stadium. All right? Okay, now if I give the filter by upload date, see, it only works for the title. It only works for the title. That's interesting. It only works for the title. And that's it, all right? Speaking of the Rams Stadium, another report I'm going to get to before I do so, but because you got to see, I want to show you something. I want to give you a sneak peek of what's coming next in our discussion. Take a look at this. That is the Rams Stadium. Look at that. This is a stadium. This is a stadium. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, no wonder it's $4 billion. Look at this thing. All right, look at this. It's going to be $5 or $6 billion when all is said and done. That's crazy. And the reason why, as I read, for the upgrades, the cost up is they have to reinforce it for an earthquake. Uh-oh. Which leads me to ask the question, remember I talked about the earthquake fault with respect to the Raiders Stadium? Hey, is this the case where the Raiders Stadium, you know what I'm saying, right? You know what I'm saying. Is it the case where the Raiders Stadium has the appropriate earthquake reinforcements in its structure? If it doesn't, costs go ding. But there's a significant difference, all right? A significant difference. John Marks asks, 5 or 6 billion, what's the cost of the Vegas Stadium? Right now, John, it is approximately $2 billion. Now, I'm going to bet that price goes up to about $3 billion when all is said and done. And okay, this is going to test the Raiders' ability to pay for it. And we're going to see the reaction of Clark County when the bills start coming due for PSL sales. Okay? This is going to be not the best situation. Just saying. It won't be. hold on a second, folks. I'm just checking something. I'm getting this low power jazz. One moment. Okay, so I'm back. All right, now. Okay, folks. Back. Having that battery problem. I have this external, right? Thinking that it'll work better, and I had it plugged in, and then for some strange reason, I guess due to this cord, it all of a sudden decided it's not going to charge it, so I get this low battery signal again with 20% remaining. So what I did was I switched the phone to low power. Now, I would love to switch to the computer itself. Trouble is that this is a flaw with YouTube. I'll have one stream going, right? But it won't let me change cameras with respect to that stream. In other words, what I can't do right now is I quite literally cannot switch from having this on my phone to having the camera on my computer, but for the same show. I mean, that's really strange, but that's how they have it set up here. Why, I don't know. I mean, everything should be from the software itself, but it's not set up that way. It's very unusual and very strange system that I think they need to work on, because it would be great to be able to have something. Anyway, it's 2:06. I'm going to go until about 2:30 and let that be that. It's late anyway, and I apologize for starting late. We've been on 51 minutes and 40 seconds, okay? Anyway, 5 or 6 billion on the Rams new stadium. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to see. Barry Lee says, ML Scott and I am wrong, but is part of the Rams scheduled stadium being built underground, like the field will be when done below ground, or you're not wrong. It is earth sheltered design. John Mark says it should be about 4 or 5 billion for the new Raiders stadium in Vegas. People should ask the question. We're deeply concerned. I don't know what's going to push it to 4 or 5 billion, because it's not supposed to be the same capacity as the Rams stadium to begin with, A, and B, it's not excavated. It didn't go through the whole earth-sheltered excavation process, although it does have its excavation process, okay? So where I would be concerned is they're doing this on a design-build schedule, and they design something, they build it, but it's also why they're still excavating. And when you excavate under a surface that has caliche, as I understand it, you should always expect to find patches that you didn't see with your equipment before that make it harder to drill into, okay? So just keep that in mind. Chris Housen says, where's the white chick from the thumbnail? Well, she's actually black. That is Ruben Foster's ex-girlfriend. Cowboy Rascal says the total cost of the new stadium is Rams Stadium is unreal. It is. John Marks says Vegas Raiders is really unreal. Not yet. I mean, it's real. It'll get to unreal when it gets to 3 billion, which I anticipate. So ML Scott says, yes, Barry, it's built into the ground, under the ground. Barry Lee says, wow, can you imagine how big the new Rams Stadium would be if all of it was built above ground? Yeah. John Mark says the Raiders should have had a deal in Oakland. Yeah, we know, but hey, here we are, and here we are, right? So I think, all right, and again, it would be fantastic. Hey, by the way, for those of you who haven't done so, thumbs up, because only 4 of you have thumbed up, but there are more who are, by count, participated. So come on, one of you give another thumbs up. Just there we go. Thank you very much. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy. I'm happy with 1. I'm happy with 2. I'm happy with 5. I'm happy. All right. So Barry Lee says, "Come on, people. Yeah, I mean, it's just a request. All right, just make the old dude happy, right? Whatever. Actually, no, I've got 7. I've got 7 likes as a whole. That's pretty good. I'd be happy with 1. I got 1. Yes, invest in Zenny62. Okay, now this is what I want you to see. This is the Rams Stadium. You got to check this out. I'm going to show you as much as I can without getting into trouble, copyright trouble. But look at this. Look at this. Boom. Isn't that something else? Wow. Wow. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Let's kind of move forward a little bit. Look at this. Okay, look at that. Wow. Isn't that something? Look at this. See that? I mean, it isn't. Yeah, they should be doing this in Oakland. Definitely. But hey, look at this. Wow. Oakland will get a stadium one day for baseball and football. It is a wonder. Look at how big this is. I mean, it just is. I mean, the scale of it is just incredible. If you think about the Vegas Stadium and you compare it, the Raiders Stadium in Vegas, and you compare it to this, it's maybe about that big, okay? This is huge. I mean, this thing is just enormous. Just plain out enormous. This is a palace. There's no other way to describe it. It is a palace. Okay? That's the Forum, the old Forum there, right? So we'll go past that, all right? Okay, so there. Then we've got, that's something else. It's, that's the best and most recent rendition of what's happening there I've seen. That's a drone flyover. I gotta get a drone so I can guide my drone, right? That's sick, man. It just is. Here's there's all drone tours that they've got of the stadium. Okay. Inglewood Stadium, April 2018 drone tour. Here's another. Look at this one. You got to see this. Take a look at this. This is like stadium cam porn. Look at this. All right. Look at that right here. Look at this. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Look at that. Look at that. Look. Let's just freeze that. Look. Ooh. So you can get an idea what's happening with the excavation area. See there? You can see how it's all done underground like that, right? See that? Let's see if we can get a little closer. We can, right here. Look at that, right here. There, see that? You can walk down in there, see there? See? This takes bucks. No wonder it's so expensive. Look at this. Look. Woo! I mean, my goodness. I'd like to ride down here, see what this is, see what it's like from this perspective. See that? And the road coming in here. I mean, this is sick. Here's another view of what all these are. What is all this? What is all this? I guess this is supposed to be around it. I don't know. Let's see here. Let me move forward. I get it. There's the apartments here, and there's this, okay? So I move forward here. What do I get? I get more of what's around it. I guess the surroundings, okay? Interesting. And that's about it. Maybe the drone got lost. That's what I'm thinking. I think the drone got lost, folks. It got a little off track, and excuse me, just like that. It got a little off track, and it wound up toward the apartments. That's what it looked like. That's something else. That is definitely a wonder. That would be a wonder. John Mark says he wants to come back to California after that one. Barely says, have they said how deep it is from ground level to field level? ML Scott, that says the housing community. They have. I think it's, let me check, Barry. Hold on a second. I remember seeing some specs. Inglewood Stadium specific specs. Okay, so Inglewood Stadium at Hollywood Park, that's Wikipedia. World's most expensive stadium. Dirt is turning. Architect details, facility design in Inglewood. Let's check on this one. Maybe that'll give us the answer. This is what it's going to look like. Hold on a second. This is what it's going to look like inside when all is said and done. Okay, like that. Look at that. That's what it's going to look like. This is that part that you saw, that empty space that juts down there in the actual drone footage, okay? Now, in terms of, I believe it's 80 feet. I remember reading somewhere it's an 80-foot drop. If you're wondering to what degree that 80-foot drop is, if you ever saw that wave, there was a guy that rode this wave. The wave was 80 feet. That's 80 feet right there. Little speck of a person there. That's no small potatoes, okay? They say the video board takes the next step in stadium center hung design. It's called the Oculus. It's oval shaped, two-sided structure, and it's got a monster ribbon board. It looks like a monster ribbon board. It's 50 feet tall. 50 feet tall. Think about that. It's almost as tall as the stadium is deep in the ground. 50 feet tall. It's 120 yards long. It covers the length of the playing field. It's twice the length of the Cowboys' center-hung scoreboard at AT&T Stadium. It's an immersive experience. This is what it's going to look like from the exterior at night. Take a look at this, all right? That's it. See? Crown jewel monument to wealth. I mean, no other way to put it, okay? The Cronkies are spending $1.6 billion of their own money. The way things are going, they're probably going to spend more. And then I read somewhere that they believe they're going to pay off the rest of the debt through PSL sales. That's nuts. There's no way they're going to sell enough PSLs to cover the cost overruns for that stadium. That's not happening. They're going to have to think of another way, because that's not happening. Now, I mean, it just is not happening. Yeah. As far as your answer, your question, Barry Lee, about the depth of the stadium, I found this passage. These are beautifully crafted spaces that people will fall in love with as they begin to see the seating ball and the field. It will be an incredible journey through a great Southern California landscaped environment, and all of a sudden, you're 80 to 100 feet below ground. I don't know if it's all of a sudden given the scale of that thing. This is like, wow, okay? It's supposed to open for 2019. That's not happening, folks. Just letting you know, it ain't happening. 2020, that's what they're saying. And the way it's looking, the way it's coming along, that's believable. And think of it this way. If that stadium looks like it does right now, it's not going to be ready until 2020, how the heck can the Raiders believe that their stadium, or at least the workers, will be ready by 2020? Okay? They've got so long a way to go, it's not funny. Okay? ML says, wonder what drop, and John Mark says, Jerry's World's coming tumbling down. Barry Lee says, so basically there's going to be a level or two above ground and the rest below ground. Yeah. Cowboy Wrestler says, Jerry's World is going to be obsolete after this stadium opens. Barry Lee says, it looks like a tent. John Marks, it essentially is. John Marks says, wonder if Jerry's World will look like the old Pontiac Silverdome after the Rams Stadium opens. Pretty much. Barry Lee says, can you imagine all the precautions they would have to build into that place to prevent the earthquake from caving in during an earthquake? Well, I mean, I think that the way earth shelter design is, I don't know the soil around there, so I would say the biggest problem with earth shelter design in that way, look, earth shelter design is great for energy efficiency. That's why you really do earth shelter design. You don't do earth shelter design thinking that you're going to have a more quake safe building per se. Now, as I think about it, ideally it would be sweet because you wouldn't have to worry about the building falling. The building's in the ground. The best way to mitigate earthquake problems when you're talking about earth sheltered structure is to essentially have it in a membrane so that it floats around the ground. Okay? Quite literally, so that it is on shock absorbers in the ground, and that it is also separated out. Okay, that's the best way to do that. In fact, that's the most ideal way to do that. So you build the bowl, and you quite literally have the stadium built in the bowl, slightly out of it. But it's not exactly, with the exception of the foundation, it's actually on, you want to actually, where it can actually shake. And then absorb the shake. And you want it so that it's subdivided so that you don't have the problem of harmonic motion rattling the thing apart. So that's how I would approach it. Now, if I was supposed to make it earth sheltered, that said, the best. Yeah, I wonder. I want to read what the engineering specs are on that. The arguments on, is it better earth sheltered or above ground for an earthquake? Now, just logic tells me if it's earth sheltered, I don't have to worry about it falling down. You, of course, don't want to have a situation where you're building it, and Barry, you might be thinking about this, where you're building in a fault. If you're building in a fault, you have a fissure, that's stupid. Like, for example, the Raiders Stadium being 1 block away from a fault. Suppose that thing just happens to, like, say, hey, I see that stadium over there. I think I'll kind of, like, carve my way in that direction. That's not funny, but look, it's only 1 block away, right? Oh, a new friend. I'm just saying, all right? don't build a stadium that close to a doggone fault. But that's what they did. Maybe the fact that I pointed out that existence of that fault is why Mark Davis doesn't want to talk to me. No, this time. I think the other time had to do with the good faith issue. This time it might very well be due to something I said that may very well have cost him extra money. I'm only speculating. My point is this. You don't just build things. You plan it, figure out your finances, and say, oh, boom, I can do it. All right? So, all right. Barry Lee asks what? Oh. Barry Lee says, can you imagine all the precautions? Yeah. I've been in tons of earthquakes, Barry Lee, including the Loma Prieta earthquake in 1989. John Mark says, so did the Raiders sign a lease extension to play at the Coliseum in 2020? They're working on it. Dustin Scott says, no, John Marks, they have no deal. Dustin, that is not exactly true. They're working on a deal. John Marks says, I survived Loma Prieta earthquake in the 89, barely. So did I. I was in Berkeley when it happened. John Marks says, looks like Raiders may be homeless in 2019. No, that's not true. Don't know where you got that from. You didn't listen to my channel the other night, John Marks. Wrong. Wrong. So no, you must have not tuned in 2 days ago, because 2 days ago I said, hey, they're working on a deal. I said that. There's actually a video here, which I guess you didn't see it, huh? Let me call it up for you. Let me see if I can help you out. Raiders, Oakland Coliseum, 2020, Zenny, 62. All right. Okay. Raiders see cost lease extension. Got a lot of videos on this. Let me see what the latest one is. They don't have my latest one listed. Shame on you guys. Try this. Shame. Yeah, here it is. Wait a minute. Shame. Shame of fools. Having a little fun here with the song. All right, let me scroll down here. Let me scroll through here. And whoops, go back that way. Let's see here. It's not going that way. I'll have it in a second, folks. What I'm doing is I'm finding the links so that John Marks and others can be aware of what I reported out a couple of days ago. Because it's quite obvious that some people didn't say it. Raiders were made in Oakland until Las Vegas NFL Stadium is ready in 2021. Okay? That's the headline of the video blog that I made while parked. And here is news right there. There it is, John Marks. There it is, okay? Jordan Yancey, how you doing? Jordan says, Cal Bear Stadium is on top of a fault. Yeah, it's not on top of it, it's near it. And it has been for quite some time. But it's not on top of it, it's near it. It's not on top. The fault actually goes behind it. Okay, so Emil Scott says there's an earthquake fault about 1.5 miles away. Yeah, that's right. It's the Hayward fault. It doesn't run. Wait a minute. Does a Hayward fault? Let me look this up. I'm online here. UC Berkeley Hayward fault. UC Berkeley Stadium Hayward Fault. The Hayward Fault runs along the foot of the East Bay Hills. Something that all residents, let's see here. Something that all residents of the Bay Area and the East Bay in particular should know. The last major earthquake there was October 21st of 1968. It destroyed downtown Hayward, killed 5 people, and injured 30. It had an estimated magnitude of 6.8 on the Richter scale, which today would be decimating. It caused damage throughout the area. San Francisco alone suffered $350,000 in property damage, which they didn't write adjusted for inflation, because it's a lot more than that, let me tell you. It was considered the Great Earthquake until 1906. So it doesn't say anything about the Hayward Fault running. Ooh, wait a minute. Hey, you know what? You're right. Hey, now I learned something. Take a look at this. This is the fault. This is the fault, folks. I was wrong, and this person was right. Have a look. Bam. See that? That's the fault. I love the internet. Look at this. That's the fault. That's Cal Memorial Stadium. Okay? How about that? That's the Haas Business School is right here. Okay? You go along here, and that is that's the International House right there. That's Piedmont Gailey. This is Fiji House. This is this fraternity row right here. But look at that. See that? Okay. I was wrong. It's not going to stop me from going to Cal games, though. I thought it was behind the stadium. No, the stadium is right on top of it. Cool. So the whole point is you don't want to obviously build underground because you're building right into the fault, which means, right? So, yeah. All right. Anyway, moving along. Hey, good night, Bradley. I'll see you later. Dustin Scott says the JPA might as well tell Mark to bounce and just let the baseball configuration collect dust. Well, that's not happening, Dustin. They're not telling the Raiders to bounce. That is way not happening. The Raiders are going to be around until the Vegas Stadium is ready, all right? Hey, it is also now 2:32. I'm going to wind down and get ready for Sunday. Jordan Yancey says it was on the news the other night. What was this? Oh, talking about the JPA, the Coliseum ENA, the Oakland Athletics ENA. Okay, I got that too. I have a surprise for you all come Sunday. Stay tuned. All right. John Mark says, too bad Oakland can't tell Mark to bounce. Nah, you know what? I like this situation. I like this situation because I have a strong feeling the stadium isn't going to go quite the way everyone would like it to go with respect to the Raiders, who are firmly in firm belief that this is going to be completed on time and under budget. That's not happening. All right. Go Warriors. All right. Good night, everybody. I will see you Sunday. I'm trying to get Jesse Smith back on. He is a candidate in the Oakland Mayor's race. I promise more guests, more fun. And hey, you all have my email, all right? Just tell me about any notification problems you're having. Please send me an email about them. The reason why I want you to send me an email about your notification problems is so I can tell YouTube that it's not just me complaining about them on a regular basis, I have something that I can pass along to YouTube from you, okay? So I need you to help me in that way. Thank you, John Marks. You can bet your last money. I'm tired. Good night, everybody. Warriors by 6. See you Sunday night. Watch horror movies. Keep America strong. I actually like that one better than the other one, John Marks. Let's stick to that one. See you guys later. All right. Bye.